All right, everybody. Welcome to Collectors of the World, episode 4. I've got on with me today my good buddy Frank over at Frank's Media and Reviews. How you doing, Frank?
I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic, Ken. So, Mama,
Um,
I made it.
I'm glad you could join me, man. I know you were nice enough to have me on your channel a few weeks back, and I told you then I was like, well, I want to get you on, my show that I do, my little interview segment over here, on this channel that I kind of rebranded because people would always ask me if their collection was big enough to be on World's Biggest Collectors.
hmm
I was like, well, that's not really what it is. So I'm like, let's just change that. Let's just call it Collectors of the World. It's been a few weeks since I've done one of these episodes, so thank you again for coming on today. And we're gonna get into it, man. We're gonna get into you as a collector, your past, your present, your future, you as a content creator. We're gonna cover it all here today, Frank. Are you ready for it?
Yes, sir. I'm ready to get the show on the road.
Okay. And Frank's relatively, new to the scene. You've been on YouTube for I think how long now? 5, 6 months, maybe a little bit longer.
Almost 5 months.
5
Yeah,
months.
yeah,
Yep.
almost. Yeah,
So you're still a baby in this space, but you're
yeah.
doing great work and you're consistent is what I've noticed. Your content is very consistent and that's what you need to make it in this business, kid. You've been doing good. You've been doing good. I'm very proud of you. But if you wanna, let the people know what you're all about over there at Frank's Media and Reviews, real quick before we get started, I will let you. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank
Let
you,
me make it.
sir.
Let me make you bigger. Nice, big, scary picture.
Ah!
Be
Yeah.
afraid.
uh, so yeah, my channel is basically everything kind of physical media. I am pretty big into the horror genre. So some of my videos, actually a lot of my videos is about horror reviews, and I do like I don't know, just like special horror themed videos. Like not too long ago, I did a springtime video, to watch during springtime. And then I just started, interviewing other content creators. So I'm just kind of dipping my toe into some other stuff, but it's been a fantastic experience. So I couldn't have asked for a better start in my infant stage.
Awesome, man. I see you have that beautiful Nightmare on Elm Street DVD box set, the best that we have for that series.
Yeah. Oh,
Unfortunately,
on
we should.
DVD. Yeah.
Not that that's not a great box set, but we should have better by
hmm
now, or at least something that's somewhat comparable to that set. It pisses me off every time I look at it. I love the set. That's like, why is this the best that we have for this incredible franchise? I just don't get it. We've got like 85 Halloween box sets at
Yeah.
this point, or Halloween editions, or what. And I love Halloween. I'm not saying it doesn't deserve it, but my goodness, can we get something for a Nightmare on Elm Street? I'm loving the Frightener set too. I'm super sore about that. I missed
Oh,
out
thank
on.
you.
Sorry, I'm noticing stuff in the
Yeah,
background.
yeah, yeah. Go.
I'm going off
I'm like
topic. I'm going off topic.
Vanna White. So
Uh,
there you go.
but again, like I said, man, thank you so much for coming on. All your links will be down below. I will link Frank's channel down below. I will link your Instagram. Please, if you are watching this interview right now, go subscribe to Frank's Media and Reviews because you're going places. You're going places. You're going places fast. I can see it. I can see the drive and the determination to succeed. So I want people to subscribe because where are you at right now? Are you close to 1,000?
I am. Yeah, I'm just as of earlier today, 860. So
Okay, well, by
yeah,
the
getting
time that's
close.
the goal when this comes out, which hopefully it will in a few days, let's push you to 1,000. You need to
Yeah,
get to
man.
1,000 by
You
the
make
end
a
of this week. Okay,
you make a
needs to
damn
happen.
good hype man.
Yeah, and if you already are there for some reason by the time this comes out, let's get you to 1,100. All right, let's push you over that hump.
Thanks, buddy.
But all right, Frank, let's start things off with let's talk about your collection. I know you got more than what's behind you because I've seen many of your haul videos, and when you do a haul video, like I thought my haul videos were big. Like you do a freaking haul video, you're hauling in like 80 titles. I feel like at once. So I know you got more than what's behind you. What's your current collection size?
It is
Not that size
slightly,
matters, but I do
yeah.
like to ask.
The motion of the ocean, damn it. Yeah, it's 900 906. No,
906.
yeah, but 910 because I actually just bought some more. So yeah.
Awesome. So it's growing, but I imagine that you have just gotten into it fairly recently. Fairly
Y-
recently, right?
Yeah, so basically, I watch channels like yours, man. So
I'm
basically, like,
sorry.
yeah, yeah, just
I'm a
say
bad
sorry to my wallet.
influence.
Yeah.
But you know what? People influence me, so I pay it forward. That's how
Thanks.
this sickness works.
I'm taking everyone down with me.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so basically, kind of like everyone or a lot of people, is I started my serious physical media collection like in 2021. Prior to the pandemic, a lot of my finances went to paddling. So I did competitive paddling, outrigger, dragon.
Competitive paddling?
Yeah,
Is that like
yeah,
rowboats and stuff?
kind of, but like, yeah, just forward, and you're paddling in one side. For dragon boating, outrigger, you just switch
Is that
sides every.
like what you see?
Hawaiian,
Doesn't
Hawaiian,
Harvard have like a paddling team or something?
oh,
Or is
I
that a
have,
rowing?
that's
Is it
rowing.
like this? So you're just one.
Yeah, yeah, just
I mean, I've been
this way.
canoeing before. I used to be in the Boy Scouts when I was a kid. And I had a canoe. I got a canoe merit badge. I remember. So I've done canoeing.
Yeah,
But
I'm pretty big. Like I started a paddling club. I coached an adult team, a kids youth high school team. Like I was very
wow,
serious into it. Like a few years ago, our kids high school team qualified for Worlds in Australia. It was too damn expensive, so we couldn't afford it. But it was still nice to like, you know, have that type of respect. And yeah, I mean, I've been very fortunate and blessed. That's something that I loved, love paddling, and I've been very blessed to be on good teams and paddle in Hawaii at the Queen Lily race, which is the world's largest outrigger
um,
race. So yeah, so anyway, so a lot of my
that's awesome though. That's awesome.
yeah, thank you. A lot of my finances specifically went to that because there's a lot of travel, a lot of, just fees and all that other stuff that kind of goes into the sports. But
So
once
you
the
don't
pan,
do that as much anymore.
no, not really. It is all. It was basically in a way like a perfect storm. I stopped paddling to be more with my family, and then all of a sudden, of course, the pandemic happened, and so I was very fortunate that my work I could work from home, and
Yeah.
so that had no changes for me financially in that department, but I had
So
extra
did
money to
this.
spare.
So the paddling. I'm sorry. We're going to be talking about paddling for the whole episode now because I'm very curious about it. So you competed like on a national level, like a world level for the
um
paddling teams. Like you said, you were gone a lot, like trips and stuff. Is that
yeah, so it just depends, of course, how competitive your team is, and of course, um, I'm a very competitive person, and
yeah,
like I said, um, when I was since I was in high school up until now, I've been very blessed to be on competitive teams to make me want to be a better paddler.
yeah,
And then I coached my a high school team for like 5 6 years, and like I said, when I'm into something, I'm dedicated to it, and I try to get the adults or those who I'm coaching within that same level or same drive, I should say. And yeah, we competed all through Oregon, Washington, California. Like I said, that's like dragon boating, and same thing with outrigger. Outrigger, there's a lot of competitive regattas, which is races throughout the Northwest. And like I mentioned earlier, that the biggest outrigger race in the world is the Queen Lily race out there in in the Big Island. And so yeah, that was a dream come true. to paddle out there in the Pacific Ocean, and yeah, man, it can be
Well, that's
grueling
freaking cool, man.
because it's 26 miles. I want to say 26 miles,
Mhm.
and it's just right from A to B, and so yeah, it's the actually, I lied a little bit. In the beginning of the race, it's the women who start the race, and then
Yeah,
the second half is the men. And so there's a change out that you do during that race, and it's fun, man. It's just
damn.
a really good sport, and I always try to promote if I can, paddling because it's a little known sport. It's not as popular as the main sports, basketball, football, but if there, it is pretty damn competitive.
Well, you just enlightened me to the world of paddling because I knew about rowing, but I didn't know about paddling.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
very interesting. I canoed down our local creek when I was a kid, so, it's not quite the Pacific Ocean, but,
Yeah.
you know, I'm pretty proud of that myself, but I remember when we went canoeing, like, it hadn't rained, and,
Hmm.
like, we had to pretty much stop every, like, 2 minutes to, like, pull the canoe because we ran out of water, and we had to, like, pull it over the dry spots. I was
Yeah.
like, "God, canoeing sucks." But I think I've been canoeing a few other times other than that, like lakes and stuff, but,
Hmm.
yeah, man, that's really cool. Let's shift gears back to collecting and stuff. So, you started your collection in the pandemic because you stopped paddling and
Hmm.
you needed another hobby, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah,
Um,
basically like another outlet, like
yeah,
and plus like I'm a typical man. Like I've always wanted like a nice TV, and
us men, we
just
like stuff,
we,
like
we're,
we like things and
we're
whatever
simple
that is.
folk.
Yeah. Stuff, things,
Yeah.
it's in our nature, I feel like, to collect. Not that there's not female collectors out there, there absolutely are.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm just thinking from my wife's perspective, like, she doesn't want anything. Like, she hates, like, clutter and all that kinda stuff. And it's like me, I'm like a hoarder. Like, I'm just, like, hoarding and collecting whatever I can get my hands on.
Yeah.
Um, but so before the pandemic, had you have I imagine you picked movies to collect because you've always loved movies your whole life, correct?
Yeah. Early in my channel, I stated that when I was younger, I used to live near like a Blockbuster, and so I used to have like DVDs. Like I had a little over 400
Yeah.
DVDs, but
That's what I was
throughout
gonna ask
time,
next. Were you collecting before then?
yeah, yeah. It's I always bring it back to like my backstory. Like my dad, like he got me into collecting in some ways, and yeah, we just lived near, at least pretty close to like a Blockbuster, and Blockbuster's always having damn deals, and so like I built up a
Yeah.
collection, and then like I stated that throughout time and just moving, like I just had to get rid of them, which it sucked, that's for dang sure, but later on, I had,
Now
um,
that you said you shopped at Blockbuster, did you get those funny Blockbuster DVD cases? I used to hate those.
yeah,
They
yeah,
felt different. I
oh,
mean, they were the rental cases that they took off the shelves, but they were
yes, yes,
different, like, they had a different texture to them. It was like a
hmm,
different plastic, like a thicker plastic they put the material in, and the
yeah,
cases were just different.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Same thing with like Hollywood Video, and so,
I'll
um,
still see those when I go to, like, 15 spots, and I'm like, "Yuck, I don't want that." I'm okay with snappers now. For a while, I didn't want snappers, but now I think they're cool, but, like, those, like, Blockbuster rental cases, I'm not a fan of.
yeah. So how I got into like collecting, recently, back in 2020, was I dipped my feet into it with buying the movie Serenity, with the Firefly
Okay.
movie. Yeah, and because it's my wife's favorite movie, and me, I'm thinking if my
Was
wife
it the
likes,
4K?
Yeah, exactly. It was a 4K, and we just had like a basic Samsung 4K. Like it wasn't like anything, you know,
Yeah, but
that
you had
nice.
a
But
4K TV.
yeah, it had the capability, and I was like, if I
Would
can
you
get my
play it on
wife,
an Xbox or something? Do you have
hell
a
yeah, I did.
yeah?
Yeah, because that
Those
was easy.
Xbox, I don't think the Xbox players are that bad, but
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, they just made it really accessible, right? And then later
yeah,
on, PS4 or five, PS4, did the same thing, and
yeah.
so yeah, like I said, if I thought I can get my wife to at least kind of like it, and then I was like, hey, there's other movies and blah blah blah, and then I was like,
There's other
okay,
movies other
boy,
than Serenity.
yeah, yeah, and so that's what happened, and then it just went bonkers in late 2020, early 2021,
Yeah.
and
Now,
so
what does she think about it now?
I kind of like your wife, Michelle, man. What's up, Michelle? Yeah, she doesn't really
Oh,
care
my
about
wife doesn't watch my videos.
uh yeah, so she doesn't really care about the collection, and I think it's more of like, she likes she cares that I like it,
Yeah,
in a sense, in that sense, but like, to her it's like, who cares? Like, if you can just stream it, then that's
yeah.
the way to go. And I recently actually had a conversation with her 2 days ago of like, and how it is important, for me to have that physical copy. And sometimes I just come in this dang, office room, and I love looking at my collection, at
Mhm.
least the ones that's in here. Um,
I don't feel like I get to come in here and just soak it in enough, I feel like I'm just
mhm,
always busy running around, slotting different things, and I'm just like, I just need to come in here and just look at it, and
yeah.
enjoy it.
Yeah, you got to, man, because it's something that you really love, and in some ways that you're kind of dedicated to it, right? And so
Yeah.
for me, it was really important to collect the movies that I like, and then you already talked about it a long time ago, but like, if there's a nicer copy, and if I can, and if I have the finances, then damn right, I'm going to try to get it. And like the whole double dipping, triple dipping, that whole
Yeah.
topic and stuff. But like,
I'm
I
trying to
wanted to,
get better with it, but it's difficult, you
yeah.
know?
Oh yeah, hell yeah, it is. I
Yeah.
mean, for us collectors, it's like, ooh, it's shiny. It's or
Mhm.
just you recently with a chunky box set.
The chunky. Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
I want those. I want every single one I talked about, I was like, I
Y-
would buy it, like, in a
Yeah,
heartbeat, even if
I,
I've
I
already got it on 4K.
I got a bunch of second sight movies, like 24 or 25 limited edition second sight
Yeah.
movies, and I love it, man. They look nice, they feel nice, and it feels like that money that you're spending is going
Like,
towards
you
something
said
wonderful.
you got 920 or 910 or whatever, but I'm
Yeah.
willing to bet that all of those, or I bet like 90% of those are like the nice stuff. Like, I don't see you, hauling in like $2 Blu-rays that you're
No,
buying at
yeah,
Goodwill.
I
You're usually
no.
bringing in the nice stuff in the collection, so I think that 900 you have is pretty quality,
Oh,
probably. I'm willing to bet.
thank you.
Because you got into it in 2020, and
Mhm,
that's when we started, not that we didn't get nice stuff before, but I just felt like boutique labels were really starting to come into their own with the
mhm.
packaging and the really elaborate, like, nice box sets like Vinegar Syndrome and Arrow Video and that kinda stuff for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I kinda just got into it in the beginning of, like, what was it? Kino started to, like, put out 4Ks, like, around that time, and, like, I
Yeah,
never heard of, like, those type of boutique labels, and
it
yeah.
took the boutique labels a good 4 years, I would say, to start going into it. I can't remember who was first. Was it Arrow? Was it Kino? But they were both around the same time, and then Scream Factory jumped in, and then it took Criterion a while, but they finally got into it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love it, man. I love it so damn much. Like, I bought a damn Michael Myers themed little display case to have it, because, well, one, I love the franchise, and
Yeah.
but like, it's just a nice little decorative piece. It's just, yeah, I consider it like art. It's a bit of
It
an art
is.
form.
Yeah, and people will try to throw shade at you for sure for collecting stuff for packaging. There's a lot of
Hmm.
people out there, and I'm sure there's people that are watching right now. They're like, "Oh, Ken's getting ready to do it again." Um, but the packaging does matter at this stage in the game. Like when you get into collecting, like we're into collecting, where it just goes beyond the movie. Yes, we love the movie. If we didn't love the movie, we wouldn't even be doing this. Like we didn't love the movies.
Hmm.
But it goes beyond that once you start to get into collecting seriously. Like you start to appreciate those, special editions and those limited editions and those prestige premier box sets, a
Yeah.
little bit more. Because I'll be honest, like 10 years ago, I would not have gave a crap about any of this stuff. I was the cheapest person ever. I always tried to get the most stripped down of everything that I bought. you
Yeah.
know, I don't need all that stuff, games and all that, all those collector's editions. I never bought that.
Hmm.
I just bought the basic, whatever was the cheapest, that's what I got. So I
Hmm.
get that mindset, but now I'm just in a different stage in life and I want to collect like this now.
I just think it's my experience, even though it's been a short period of time. It's like you're at different levels as a collector.
Yeah.
First is you just want the movies that you have, and if it's a standard
And to
edition,
be clear, I'm not
yeah.
saying that any one way that somebody collects is better than the other.
Hmm.
It's just different. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying.
Exactly. All it is just collecting differently, and we're all as long as you're supporting physical media, then it's all cool. But yeah,
The
it's just
people that
different
want to save
levels.
all the money that they can are, to be honest, probably smarter than me in a lot of ways, and they're
Oh.
going to have money to retire with and do what they want later on in life. Whereas I'm going to be I'll just have my movies and that's it. I'm not going to be able to eat off my movies, so I'm probably the dumb one here. But it's just different ways of collecting.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't regret anything with my collection or with the pieces, and the amount of money and time and all that other stuff that goes into collecting. But yeah, I mean, it's basically like, what the hell we're gonna do after this?
Yeah. I'm trying, but like I said, I'm trying to be smarter. It's like when I really started getting into this hot and heavy, I was still early 30s, still kind of young. But now, as I'm approaching my 40s, I'm like, I really got to get a handle on this and get a little bit smarter. Start
Hmm.
thinking about the future. Even though some of these are probably an investment, maybe they'll be worth some money someday. But I don't know about you, but I don't buy this stuff and think about reselling it. Like that's not really
Hmm.
my goal. It's to have it, to archive it, to have it for the rest of my life. Where it goes after that, I'm not really too concerned with because I'll be gone. But it's not to sell off later or anything like that.
Yeah, just a quick thing. It literally just reminded me. So I mentioned it to you, and like uh, Born to Be Rad, Garrett. But this is I won this off of Umbrella Entertainment's giveaway,
Oh, really?
and this is the first one. This is number one out of the
Oh,
entire.
damn. They said the first one for you, huh?
Yeah, yeah, and well,
That's
it's one of
awesome. You
their
won that
social
though.
media giveaways, and I never win anything, and so I was shocked, of course, to actually win something, and I didn't know it was going to be this beautiful for a
Oh
movie
yeah.
like Super Mario, but like you guys just did a collab with that,
Yeah.
and it's literally like the best physical release
It's one of the
probably
best
in a few
editions I've ever
years.
unboxed. Like it's the
Yeah.
best like package release probably since Drive, I think from Second Sight. That's the last time I've been that impressed by a physical release, just with everything it included. But I would say it goes beyond Drive because there's just so many other types of things in there.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
and I'm always trying to promote Umbrella Entertainment, not just because their releases are just fantastic. Audition. I mean,
yeah,
I just have some other limited
I still
editions
need to
from the.
watch Audition, but that Super Mario Brothers like looked great. Like the 4K looked fantastic, so I
I
thought they did a
know.
great job on the 4K. And I don't think the movie's great.
Mm,
But it's honestly it's okay. I think I think it gets a bad rap. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be.
hmm.
I think there's some merit to the movie.
Yeah,
Uh,
with this, there's no HDR, and it looks pretty dang good.
yeah, yeah. No, I thought it looked great. Like you could have told me it had HDR, and I would have thought it did. So
Hmm.
I didn't, you know, I didn't really see too big of an issue there without
Yeah.
the HDR. So, but going back, I was going to ask you something before. Going back to your wife and how you all watch movies and streaming and stuff like that. Does she prefer to watch stuff on streaming, or does she ever ask to watch something that's in your collection? I guess is what I'm asking.
No, I mean, 99% of the time
She just
it's
wants to watch something on
always
streaming.
on streaming. What was it? I think the last time she actually wanted to watch something specifically on physical media was um, The Beekeeper. Uh,
Okay.
but
Because she knew you had it. Right.
yeah, and it looked like a good 90s throwback action
I still
film,
need to
and then
watch that.
yeah, and that's what it basically is, and just Jason Statham just kicking booty.
Sounds
But
great.
but yes, sign me up. But besides that, I mean, no, she always prefers, or at
Yeah.
least select, chooses the streaming more accessible
Cause,
option.
cause my wife and I will be out there sitting on the couch for like 20, 30 minutes. And she's like, I don't know what to watch. There's just nothing that I'm interested in on streaming. And I'm like, I have a collection back there of like, thousands of movies.
Hmm.
Like we can go pick a movie out back there. Some stuff that, I need to get watched, for the channel or whatever, or some stuff that
Yeah.
I just got in, or just tons of stuff. Movies that you would probably like. She just never really is interested in it. I thought tonight I forced her. I just went ahead and did it. Like she went upstairs to make like a coffee drink, and I came in here and grabbed Crybaby on 4K. Like I just
Okay.
got this in, I want to watch it,
Hmm.
and I put it in. She come back down. She goes, "What did you put in?" I say, "Crybaby on 4K." Now sit down and enjoy the movie. She had never seen it. I've seen it a bunch, and it's a really goofy movie. I don't know if you've seen Crybaby
Mm-mm.
before, but
No, no, I
it's like
know
a
it
it's like
stars
a
Johnny
50.
Depp.
Yeah, it's like a satire of 1950s.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
meant to be taken too seriously. I love it, but
Hmm.
she was not digging it. She got up after like 50 minutes and walked off. So, said she was gonna go check on the kids and then never came back. So, but yeah, I just think that stuff's interesting. Um, like the collecting and how your spouses feel about it and all that kind of
Hmm.
stuff. Let's go back. You said you collected DVDs back in the day. Is that where it started for you as far as like collecting, where you formed your collecting habits, or did it go any earlier? Do you go back to the VHS era?
Um, yes, just a little bit. It was basically like my dad had some VHSs that he kind of just handed me. So hand me down VHSs, and like it was like Godfather and just like typical like action films. My dad was pretty big into action, horror, westerns, which I'm not a big western fan, but it was nice to get those type of movies and on VHS. Um, and yeah, I mean that's how it basically kind of started, just spinning basically having fond memories watching movies with my dad, and kind of wanting to experience that kind of over again, or if I watch a movie I'm like, oh yeah, it reminds me of my dad, or a friend, or just as that sentimental piece. And so
Yeah.
yeah, that's basically how I started collecting. And then, as I mentioned, living close to Blockbuster didn't help once I got my first job.
Yeah.
So
All
yeah.
downhill after that. All the money's out the window.
Yeah.
So then you got out of it. You were forced to give away your DVD collection, and you kind of just went stagnant on collecting for a while, got into paddling, and then during the pandemic, I imagine you still watched movies during that time. You probably just streamed them, right?
Oh yeah, it is kind of odd. Like, I collected movies when I was younger, as a teenager, and then of course where I'm at now. But like literally, like in between that, I didn't really collect movies, and I
Yeah.
don't know why. It just was, and so I think it's basically you kind of get, at least for me, and probably some collectors, is you just kind of get that itch, like you just want to start collecting again, and so that's what it was, and that's where my mindset went. And like as you said, it just kind of just went down downhill
Yeah.
a little
I mean,
bit, but
that's the way it happened for me. Like, I was hot and heavy during the DVD era. I was buying a bunch of stuff. I wasn't buying like special editions or anything like that, but I was buying like new releases at Walmart and just movies that I love. I remember they would come out with special editions of like Airplane, and that would be at Walmart. I remember buying that. It was like the Don't Call Me Shirley edition or something. I
nice.
bought movies all the time. I built up like a DVD collection of like it wasn't, but I thought I was hot and heavy back then, but it was probably like 600 or 700 or something,
Hmm.
like DVDs that I ended up getting. I bought a ton of horror titles and things like that. But then in like I think like 2007, 2008, it really died off. Like I still bought some DVDs from time to time, but not too much. And I pretty much missed the entire Blu-ray era. Like
Hmm.
I didn't really get into because when I got back into it, that's when 4K was coming out. Now I've got a ton of
Gotcha.
Blu-rays because they've still been releasing stuff on Blu-rays, and I went back and grabbed stuff from thrifting spots. But
Hmm.
during when it was hot and heavy, like early 2010s and stuff, I really wasn't collecting Blu-rays. I really wasn't collecting movies at all that much. I was in my video game era during that
Hmm.
time.
Yeah, I
Um,
remember you mentioning that.
yeah, Xbox 360, PS3, like Xbox One, all that stuff. Like Wii, I was super into games.
Hmm. Yeah, and as you know from our interview, like most of my collection are all 4Ks. I mean, like
Yeah.
I think like 80%, maybe 70, 75, but like it's, yeah, because I
Yeah, I
started
mean,
so
well,
late.
yeah, when you got into it, like 4K, everybody was doing it. So I
Hmm.
mean, it's like, why not start collecting for 4K? Because you literally got nothing, to debate about. It's like, should I do I upgrade this Blu-ray or do I
Hmm.
not? It's like you don't have the movie, so you might as well just buy the 4K. That was my whole thing with like Screen Factory
Hmm.
titles.
And if I'm being honest, like back in the good old days, Best Buy had like multiple rows of their physical media, at least in my location,
Yeah,
and they were always having a damn sale, and so that's how I kind of just got into it too. Is just like, oh, it's a reasonably priced 4K movie. Like,
yeah.
why would I go to the Blu-ray? And so that's where my mindset went as a collector. Starting my collection was just all basically 4K. So thanks Best Buy.
Yeah, even brand new, when a lot of the new movies came out, the price difference would be like what, $4 or $5,
Yeah, not
usually.
that
It's
much.
like, I might as well get the 4K. And then back then, pretty much every single one included the Blu-ray too.
Hmm.
So you could have both. Now they're kind of halting on that a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, but like you said, in the good old days, you could get both for just $5 more. So it's like you're essentially paying $5 more to get a 4K because it has the
Hmm.
Blu-ray in it already. So you might as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, it comes with the digital codes, and that's always helpful as well. So,
Yep. Yep. If you wanna, resell and things like that, for
mhm.
sure that can be, helpful. But, let's get into you as a content creator. So when did you decide to start your channel, and what kinda pushed you in that direction? Obviously, you said you were watching people like me, I'm sorry, and other content creators as well for a while before you started, but what made you finally wanna take that leap?
um, Kind of like most people, I debated for a while of wanting to start a YouTube channel, of course, because I thought about it, but then I was too scared. Scared of like the perception, or just people watching me and my content,
It's a
possible
scary
content.
thing.
Yeah, it really is, and it's like you just have to kind of just go for it, and that's what it was. My good friend John from Let's Talk Entertainment, he was very encouraging, a hype man, and just I owe a lot of my yeah, just not, I don't know about success, but just uh, him encouraging me to take that final step, because again, like I subscribed to him very early in his channel, and all it is just building that relationship as a viewer to the content creator, and we just had a good relationship, off of just simple communicating on YouTube. And so yeah, he helped me a lot with like this designs and the do's and don'ts a little bit, of YouTube. And so I was at a point in mid January, just not too long ago, and I was like, kind of, shit or get off the pot, basically.
Yeah.
If I wanted to do it, and I just leaped into it, and as I said, it's been a phenomenal experience for me. The community, the physical media community, the horror genre community has just been so welcoming. Um,
Yeah.
I, I just I don't know. I just feel pretty lucky because my experience has been pretty good, and people are actually watching my videos. And as you mentioned, it's I'm kind of close to like 1K, and it's just odd. It's weird, and that's
Yeah.
one of the
I
things
mean,
that I
that's great, man.
yeah, it's just one of the things that
To be like, or go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just really quick, is that's why I wanted to pick your brain a little bit, and during our interview, is to get like that feeling that you had when you hit that, milestone, of that 1K milestone, and then how to build your channel and how to succeed to do
Yeah.
better and stuff like that. Because yeah, I mean, it's a grind, but if you have the support and that relationships and everything, it's not bad. It's like, yeah, it's good relationships. So
Well, I mean, I was just gonna say to get to that 1,000 mark, you probably get there close to the 6 month mark. I would say is really good because, but it seems like with you, when you started, like you were serious about it. Like you've been putting out consistent content since you started. You didn't really have any cold starts or anything like that. I had a lot of starts and stops, and I don't know if I want to do this or not. I didn't know what I was doing. To be honest, I still don't really know what I'm doing. Um, but just a lot of put a video out and then like don't do anything for like 5 months, things like that. I had a lot of that kind of stuff going on
mhm,
in the very beginning. So I'd say from when I put out my first video and then I really started going at least like a video a week, it took me a year and a half to get to 1,000. So
mhm.
I mean, to be at 1,000 in 6 months, I mean that's a great achievement, I would say for
Yeah,
sure.
well, hopefully that happens. That'd be awesome. And yeah, like I said, everyone's just been very supportive, and it just makes me want to make videos.
Yeah,
Think what type of, like, always thinking the next video, and getting feedback from
yeah.
viewers. So
And the community just feels a lot. It feels bigger for sure, but it feels a lot more together. Like, yeah, there's different sections and there's different groups of people that hang out and associate with each other, but it feels like everybody's just real, like super welcoming now and things like that. When I first started doing it, I didn't really like know how to introduce myself to people or really like get out there. And it felt like everybody was just very fragmented and just doing their own thing. I didn't see a lot of collabs
mhm,
with some of like the bigger content creators in the physical media space.
mhm,
Um, like I would see Wet Movie One and Cool Duder like in each other's videos and things like that. But beyond that, it didn't seem like a bunch of people collaborating together and doing different stuff together like it does now.
mhm,
That's why within the first year, I just made a point to, I was like, it's going to be hard for me to do because I'm just a very like introverted person, but I need to get myself out there and just start inviting people on my channel like you're
mhm.
doing now to do interviews and then just kind of open this thing up and try to bring people together. That's another thing I try to do with the roundtables.
Which hopefully bring that back maybe at some point. But like, yeah, I
I'm
really like
close. I'm
those.
close to bringing it back. Close.
Yeah, they're fun videos. Just that whole banter that you guys had,
Yeah.
and just everyone has certain opinions about a movie, and I just love hearing about it personally. And yeah, I'm always open to collaborating with people, and kind of building that network within physical media and the horror genre because, like I said, it's just been a great experience. So,
Yeah. And one thing you'll notice is like, I know you're saying like the physical media crew and then the horror genre crew, but they kind of feel like one and the same a lot of the times.
hell yeah.
Like horror fans are usually physical media fans, in my experience. Even if they don't really talk about it that much on their channels, maybe they're just,
Hmm.
they would just want to talk about like new horror movie reviews and things like that. They just want to focus on new movies and just movie related content. They probably got a physical media collection in the back. And the same with like physical media collectors. Like they seem for the most part, with some exceptions, to be horror fans in some way. And I think that's why a lot of boutique labels lean on the horror films
Hmm.
to sell a lot of their titles.
Oh yeah, I mean, which obviously is smart by them. But I mentioned earlier that basically the horror fans kind of kept, physical media alive, and in some ways, just
Yeah.
because we buy some terrible movies,
So
right? But
Vinegar Syndrome's made an entire, you know, company off of that.
yeah,
I
but we
know they
love it,
started as a
man.
porn company or a porn
Hmm.
label, but then they transitioned to just schlocky, shitty horror films from the 70s and 80s that nobody in their right mind would want to watch back then. But now they're rescuing these films and they're giving them loving restorations, and
Hmm.
they're putting all kinds of great special features, and they're putting them in these incredible like packaged releases with great artwork. And it's like all of a sudden this stupid little movie that you saw on the video store shelves that you didn't really think about back in the 80s now looks awesome and you want to check it out. Makes it more attractive.
Man, like, speaking of Vinegar Syndrome, like I mentioned in my video, Showgirls, like that is one of the best 4K transfers I have ever seen. And
Hmm.
Showgirls, what the hell, man? Like that had a VSU beautiful box, and it's just amazing release from Vinegar Syndrome. But Showgirls,
Yeah.
what the?
Showgirls. That was in my I know that was in my top 10 4Ks of 2023 because I did look incredible. It
Yeah.
looked absolutely incredible. That's a movie that I think it's I like it. I like it. It's a Paul Verhoeven movie. I just think it's intentionally campy and kind of bad.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it does kind of make you think like we got all these movies that are great movies that haven't been given this kind of treatment. And then we got Showgirls with just one of the best transfers of all time. And Vinegar Syndrome's got a lot of that kind of stuff,
Hmm.
to be honest. A lot of not so great movies, fun movies, but not so great movies that have some of the best transfers I've ever seen.
Yeah.
They just do a great job with their. I wish it just makes me. That's why, like Vinegar Syndrome, like I love them, but also why, like, I'll get upset when they don't put out like something a little bit more mainstream. And I know that it all comes down to the rights and stuff, but I'm like, God, I just want Vinegar Syndrome to handle everything sometimes. Like
Hmm.
Vinegar Syndrome and Arrow Video, can you guys just get every single movie so I know it's done right?
Yeah, I got into Vinegar Syndrome because of Amityville, and
Oh, that
that
was
that was my
incredible.
first 4K
Yeah.
movie in general was that, and I was like, damn, I never heard of this label, and they put that movie out, and then they put out I think right after that Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2,
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
and I was like, dang, and that's pretty popular
Roadhouse is the
movies.
one that blew my mind.
Yeah, but I
And
was getting,
Freeway. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, Freeways, they're very nice. But I was, but what I was kind of mentioning was like those are pretty popular movies. So I assumed because I just got into that label that they would have that type of
See,
popular
I thought
movies.
they were getting into that, like, oh, they're going to start getting some of those older Scream Factory titles that Scream Factory is not renewing, and we're going to start getting some really cool stuff from Vinegar Syndrome. Again, not that I know there's an audience for all the stuff that Vinegar Syndrome puts out, and I do think it's cool that they do that treatment for these unknown movies. But it's like I want some stuff that I know too, that I recognize.
Yeah, I do have to applaud them in that regard, just because they put out certain movies that just, aren't really mainstream popular, but it's because of them that, like, you mentioned how recently you watched, was it Flesh Eater? And
Flesh Eater's awesome.
yeah, and those are the type of movies that, in some ways, because of Vinegar Syndrome, I started to really watch because they had a
Yeah.
wide selection of it. So I went from Vinegar Syndrome to now recently going into like Severin films, and I've found myself really liking those type of movies, and I wouldn't have experienced that or really known about it if it wasn't for like Vinegar Syndrome putting
Yeah.
out those type of movies.
You
So
got to give them a lot of credit for that, for
yeah,
sure. It's just like I just want one Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, like every 2 months. You don't even have to
yeah,
do it every month. Just every 2 months, give me something because I love that too. Like honestly, like on one hand, I'm like put out some more mainstream stuff, but on the other hand, it's like, well, I kind of do like this unknown,
hmm
these unknown movies, and I'm really just getting into them a little bit more. And I think the cinematography line is like one of the best things I've ever done. I'm really digging that line. I've watched 3 out of 5 of them. I got the other 2 in recently.
is that the one
Um,
with Red Rock? I don't
Red
have
Rock
any.
West,
Okay.
yeah. So this line that they put out, they started at the beginning of this year. I just got in Dangerous Game, right here, which I should have unboxed by the time I put this video out. Um, this is supposed to focus on lost American classics, like from the
Oh,
70s, 80s, and
okay.
90s. That's the goal of this line. So they put out Little Darlings, which is a
hmm
really great movie on 4K, and the 4K looked great. If you don't have it, I highly recommend it. Then Red Rock West was the second one. Then Going South, which is a movie directed by Jack Nicholson, was the third, which was really good. I enjoy that. It's kind of a Western romantic comedy.
Hmm.
And then they did a movie called Touch, which is directed by Paul Schrader. And then they did Dangerous Game recently, which has Harvey Keitel and Madonna in it. I
Oh,
think it's from the 90s. So,
okay.
yeah, if you haven't started, I'm going to give you something else to collect for and spend your money on. If you haven't dove into the cinematography line or cinematography, whatever, however you pronounce it,
hmm
I recommend it. And it's got cool packaging. It's in a hard box, but inside it's like a little booklet.
Oh,
It's like a
wow.
little
Okay.
digibook on the inside. You open it
Okay.
up and you got pages and stuff. So they're
Gotcha.
cool releases. They're cool releases.
Kind of like the German releases their media book. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. I'm really digging that line so far, and I think Vinegar Syndrome in 2024 has had a really good year. And they haven't really put out a ton of mainstream stuff. It's just the stuff that they put out that I've been taking a chance on has actually been really good. Um, so they're having a good year for sure, I think.
Nice.
But no, I love Vinegar Syndrome. I love them. They're up there. They're definitely like top 2 boutique labels for me. They're the only label that I just get really excited every month, like for their announcements to see what they're going to
hmm
put out
Oh, yeah, I mean, a
for
lot of
sure.
people do. I mean, you see on YouTube, at least within niche, our
Yeah,
niche, that there are a lot of people um, are putting out those Vinegar Syndrome videos, and I know my ass is gonna do
yeah.
like was it halfway to Black Friday
Halfway to
unboxing.
Black Friday, so
Yeah, because I
yeah.
ordered like 8 or 9 movies, and so which is a
That's what
big,
I got 8, I think. Yeah.
yeah, which is big for me. Um,
I remember
there's
last year I got like 20 or something. It was ridiculous. But I
wow,
didn't go that hard this year
yeah,
because I've got a lot of vinegars back there I haven't watched yet. I was like, I need to start cracking into some of these damn things.
nice.
But let's uh let's jump into some collector questions with you. Um and find out what kind of a collector you are, Frank. Are you ready for that?
Oh damn, I'm ready.
Are you are you generally a day one buyer or do you find yourself waiting for the sales more often than not?
No, I've always been upfront. I am a day one
It's
double
hard to wait
dipper.
sometime, isn't it? I admire the people
Yeah,
that wait. I really do.
yeah. Oh, they're the smart ones.
Oh, they are. They are. It was I don't know if you follow him or not. I'll shout him out, but Brian Goes Blue.
Mm.
Um he found I think the Columbia Classics Volume 4 set. I paid $220 for that damn thing. He found it at Target. It was like $40 on the clearance rack. and then he had like a 50% off coupon or something, and he got that thing for $20.
Are you
And he's
serious?
doing this stuff all the time. He's always finding these incredible deals because he waits
Wow.
and he picks his spots. But it's like, I don't feel like that would ever happen to me. Like, I'm not finding the Columbia Classic set on a Target shelf on the clearance rack, but he always finds deals and things like that. And there's a lot of people out there that do that, and I admire the patience.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, I just can't do it. I think a lot of it has to go in. You now have a channel, I have a channel, and we like to cover this stuff as it comes out. When it's popular and is going to actually do some numbers for the channel.
Oh, for sure. That's why people, you've done it, and a lot of people just order from Scream Factory or just the specific websites labels
Yeah.
because you get it early most oftentimes.
I try not to do that with Screen Factory too much, only if I'm like really excited for it. I didn't do RoboCop 2. I got that from Amazon, but Killer
Uh,
Clowns I did pre-order from them.
I'm okay. I'm going to be honest with you, man. I loved your you and Michelle, your conversations on your dang videos. Married with Media, subscribe to them.
Thank
That
you for the shout.
yeah, is
My wife
that
appreciates that,
yeah.
even
Is
though
she
she's not
watching?
watching.
She could hear it. But anyway, yeah, just your conversations and banter of like, why the hell are you buying it from there? Because it can get expensive
Yeah.
ordering from them. They always I I'm
I
not a
was
big
dumb. I
fan.
shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't, because that Killer Clown Steelbook showed up on Amazon like the next week for
Hmm.
$32. It's like, why did I spend $50 ordering this damn thing from Screen Factory for a poster and the fact that I got it in early? Which, I reviewed it and it did pretty good numbers, so
Hmm.
it was probably worth it. But I could have saved money for sure.
Hmm. Yeah, I know it's a little off topic, so my bad. But
No, you're good.
Scream Factory, I hate how they package stuff. I know you mention it sometimes, but like,
The big long boxes
dude, and then
for no
and like
reason. Well,
hundred
no,
and
they have
eighty
a poster in it.
dollars, like
Yeah,
for yeah. Anyway,
pins,
yeah, I'm not
enamel
not
pins.
a fan of it.
They the pins, okay, I get it. Maybe it costs a lot of money to do some pins, but like they'll upcharge $60 and add in lobby cards, and that's what gets me.
Hmm.
Because I'm like, Aerial Video literally puts lobby cards in their box sets and they don't charge any extra. It's like still $40 for the 4K box set release.
Hmm.
So, and they'll put lobby cards just in their regular cases, sometimes.
Yeah. Again, sorry, I'm off topic. I can't wait. So I just ordered because I saw it from Dead Pit, um, the case of the Bloody Iris.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's a new label.
oh
That's a
my
new label.
gosh, man, I can't wait for it. It just got me thinking because if you order from the website, they have those big lobby cards. They're like, I don't know, they're
Yeah.
just freaking huge, man. So anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, you're good, man. You're good. Do you buy a lot of mainstream releases or are you mostly boutique at this point? And what I mean by mainstream, it'd be like, new movies in theaters or just like studio titles, basically.
That's a good question because most of my collection is mainstream, right? Because that's how I got into my collection. However, I've once I found like a label that I like my first boutique label that I just was simply amazed at was a Second Sight. And me personally, they're my favorite boutique label. Um,
I mean, yeah,
and of course,
you can't deny the second sight releases. They're incredible.
yeah, and what was it? The Babadook, I think it was that one. And
Yeah.
I was floored. I was like, "Oh my god, this is so much better than the movies that are in Best Buy." And so once I
Where's
like
this at in Best Buy?
yeah,
How come
exactly.
they're not showing me this?
Yeah. And so that I was hooked. Like
Can I ask you a
uh,
question? When did you start noticing these like special editions? Were you on Instagram at the time? Were you noticing people post them, or did it all just come from people's videos showing it off?
people's videos. It was, as I said, it was content creators like you, Pizal, CHH, like
Yeah.
you guys just showing like these beautiful releases, and I was like,
Are you locked in now? Are you following all the physical media sites now, the boutique sites? You getting the email notifications, all that
oh,
stuff? Or are you
oh
still getting
yeah.
the information
Um,
from videos and things?
no, I mean, I since I would say since being a YouTuber, a content creator, I've definitely tried to be more knowledgeable going to the
Yeah,
specific websites because you kind of have to, right? You're presenting yourself on a video, you better know what the hell at least what you're talking about.
yeah,
And so, but if I'm being honest, of course, a lot of my information in the beginning, or even like still now, I mean, in some ways, it's through content creators
yeah,
because the people, at least I watch, um, obviously including you in there in that conversation, is like uh, y- y- these content creators seem genuine, they seem real, um, it's just authentic, and so they're honest, and that's the type of person that I am. And they'll tell you if a release, a 4K transfer, or whatever is just simply bad, and that's what I want,
yeah,
especially as a viewer, and so yeah,
yeah.
I
Because
mean,
I feel like I cover everything, I feel like, on the physical media report, and then I'll still find people showing stuff off that I've never even heard of. So
mhm.
I try to stay tapped in with all the labels, but also follow a good amount of content creators as well because people are still showing off stuff that I haven't even seen yet.
Yeah,
It's just like coming out of nowhere, like special editions from other countries and things like that.
that's what I was gonna mention, is that, I found myself, so Second Sight was like a for
Yeah,
me, and I then started to, find other international overseas labels like Turbine, Cape Light Pictures. I mean, there's so many great, labels that are overseas, and they have releases, 4K releases that just aren't here, in the States. And
yeah,
I've made videos about that because some people just don't know, and I think that's part of our responsibility in some ways, is to inform people of those type of releases because it's simply beautiful. Like
yeah,
Turbines, the Frighteners. To me, this is the Frighteners 4K is top five in my collection. It's the transfer, the Dolby
I'm
Atmos.
jealous. I'm
It
jealous.
is, and the release. Oh my
I
god.
slept on it because I at the time I didn't know about Turbine as much as I do now, and I was like, "Is this gonna be in German? Am I gonna actually be able to listen to it in English? Like, what is
Hmm.
this?" So I slept on it, and then it sold out, and I couldn't get it. Um,
Yeah.
I know the booklets are all in German and things like that, but
Hmm. Yeah, to me, it's worth it, man. And Amazon kind of made it pretty easy as well to just buy 4K movies. You just go through your settings or profile,
yeah,
change it to the different country. But yeah, I love it. Like one of my favorites that some people just don't know is like Phantasm is in 4K, and I
yeah.
have it, and Diabolic actually sells it on their website too. But
Who put
yeah,
that one out? Was it Turbine or Cape Light?
no, it's oh
Or was
gosh,
it,
it's
Play On?
Play On or Kosh. I think it's Play On though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just, yeah. I love international releases, and I think that's just something, another level of being a collector, for sure.
Yeah,
So.
and sometimes you can get some good deals on that stuff too,
Hmm.
um, for sure. Alright, let's talk about the boutique labels. Which one is your favorite right now? I know well, you just mentioned you said Second Sight. That was a
Yeah.
question that you already answered. What's your second favorite? We'll say
Yeah.
that.
Damn it, Ken.
Second favorite. You weren't prepared for this. You gotta pick a second. Is it Cape Light?
No. My I would say, and I wouldn't have said this last year. I would say Arrow Video.
Yeah.
Arrow Video, month after month last year, it was just incredible how many releases, amazing movies and releases they put out last year.
Yeah.
I was shocked, and I was, of course, spending a lot of damn money, but their releases, their transfers, for the most part, is just simply incredible. And yeah, they would be my number two. Number three would be Vinegar Syndrome. They would be higher because they put out fantastic 4K transfers like Ticks. That movie looks incredible. But
Can you
again,
believe that we got Ticks on 4K, but we don't have Nightmare on Elm Street on 4K?
yeah, soon.
Blows my mind.
Uh, but yeah, man, I love boutique labels, and I know it's some people just don't like them, which it's their decision or their choice, but because they are kind of expensive, right? I mean,
They can be.
yeah, for sure. So unless for us collectors, uh, at least our style of collecting, I want the limited edition, right? And the good thing is that they do
If you're
offer
gonna get it, you
standard.
got to go big.
Yeah, go big, go home.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they do make standard editions, and so that's something that I did. That was actually, I think, one of my first double dips into a boutique label was 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 The Guess, which is a movie that we'll bring up later on. But I bought the standard disc, and then I was like, "Oh my god, I really love this movie. I need a better edition." Same thing with Drive, but I didn't have the
Yeah.
money at the time for that, so I just had the standard editions. Um, so
The
yeah.
Guest, and I think The Guest might have been my first second site purchase from their website,
Hmm.
because I had Dawn of the Dead on 4K, but I acquired that one secondhand somehow. I can't disclose how I got that. It might be illegal in some countries. But I did acquire that. I actually acquired two of those, and I gave one of them away.
Oh wow,
I think it was like a 5,000 subscriber celebration, and I gave away the Dawn of the Dead 4K.
baller
I had
status.
two of the big box sets.
Yeah, I
Of
know. Oh, yeah, the
It was
chunky.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I acquired those through
yeah,
nefarious means.
yeah.
And I also had the Babadook, which I got another way as well.
Hmm.
But the first like actual purchase I made was the Guest on 4K, because I just love that movie. As soon as they announced it, I'm like, I got to get this. And then they announced Drive, and I had to get that too because I love that movie. And then The Witch, and then I got hooked on Second Sight.
Hmm.
Um, and It Follows last year. I was like, you guys are just on a freaking roll. These are all movies that I love, so I got to get these.
Hmm. Yeah, a lot
Um,
of their movies are within the horror genre, and so
yeah,
yeah, so
yeah. Um, what about Steelbooks or slips? I don't see you, I feel like, collecting a lot of Steelbooks. Are you not a big Steelbook guy?
um I so not too long ago I did my entire physical media video, and I have over 100 steel books, but that
Okay.
came kind of recent. I would say within the year I started
Okay.
to like really get into steel books. Um
Were
I
you reluctant at first?
Oh yeah, because it's the typical steel books. I mean, it's going to get dinged, it
Yeah.
warps, all this other stuff that is a risk of buying steel books, unless you bought it at the store, like the good old days. Then you can actually inspect it and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I would say, to answer that question, as of now, I would say steel books. So that would, yeah, as of right now,
Good
that'd be
answer.
it.
Good answer. Um, okay, let's get into this. Do you do a lot of blind buying?
Hell yeah, I do.
A lot of blind buying. I know
I
we've
I
kind of
love it.
talked about it, but
Yeah.
like I said, some people can be a little iffy about it, and some people out there will say, "I only buy the movies I know that I love."
Mhm. Which,
And
of course, it's totally
no
cool, but
disrespect to that, but to me, in the way that I collect, in the way that I enjoy collecting in my collection, that would be boring to only buy stuff that I knew I loved. And that's the way I collected pretty much like back in the day. Like I did just buy the movies that I knew that I loved, that I remember watching on VHS as a kid or something.
mhm.
But now it's like I'm just at a different era, I guess. And I just like the exploration. Like that's what drives me to continue to collect. So,
Yeah, I mentioned recently, that there's it feels pretty damn good. like there's nothing like it. I feel like when you just blind buy a movie and you're like shocked of how good it is. Like uh, you know, soon we're gonna go over
Yeah.
some of that stuff. But
We
like,
we we can go ahead and do it.
do you want to do?
Because
Okay.
I asked you to bring me 5 examples of some blind buys that you've done, um, that you would like to show off and how you felt when you watched them after you
Okay.
blind bought them. So you can finish your thought and then you can get into it because I know you were in the middle of something.
Oh man, there ain't that much. It's all good.
But yeah, it is a great feeling though. I'm with you on that. Like when I blind buy a movie and I watch it, if it's like from Vinegar Syndrome or something, and I absolutely love it, I'm like, hell yeah. It's like you won the lottery or something. It's like
It
you won on
really
the slot
does.
machine or the roulette table. It's like you took a chance, you took a gamble, and it paid off. You now have this great movie in your collection that you love, and you may not have known it existed before. So,
I've noticed when I've did a blind buy and I love the movie, and if I actually do a video review for it, um, I've noticed like I'm all jazzed up, like I'm so excited to talk about it. So the ones
yeah.
that I have here, I'll start with the recent ones that I just did. Was I was s- so surprised, and I was all jazzed up talking about it. And that's Basket Case. Never saw the movie.
Ooh, you got the Arrow edition or
Yeah.
the exclusive.
And I love this damn movie. It's so ridiculous, but it's such a fun movie because all I knew was seeing an image. It's not there, but just like the typical,
Yeah.
little face or whatever in a basket.
I'm
But
really digging Frank Henenlotter as a director because I've just started getting into his films this year. I watched Brain Damage, Basket Case, and I recently watched Frankenhooker. And
mhm.
Frankenhooker is probably my favorite. But I enjoy all the movies that I've seen so far.
Yeah, hopefully that gets a 4K release because I'll buy that damn movie.
It's really it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of
hmm
fun.
And yeah, I like his style of movies and
Yeah,
directing and silliness that kind of goes all into it.
yeah.
Uh,
I bought the 2 Blu-rays in the Synop sale for 2 and 3
mm,
recently because they were $9
oh
to get
wow!
2 and 3. So they'll probably get 4Ks now, but they were cheap, so I went and bought them.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
Yeah, you're welcome. You guys are welcome.
Next one is the Borderlands. Um,
Ooh, is that still available? I
I,
wonder.
I don't
Because I
know.
missed that one. That was
Um,
good?
yeah, I got mine through Diabolic. Um, and which I get a lot of my international stuff from
I do
Diabolic.
too. I do too.
And so yeah, Jesse the man. But holy cow, I was shocked of the ending. I was really into
That's
this.
found footage, right?
It's a found footage movie, and I that is my favorite genre is found footage films.
In the
And
horror genre? Is that
uh,
your favorite
yep,
subgenre?
yep. Within the horror genre is yep subgenres.
It's it's at least 2 for me. I don't know if it's my favorites. It might be, but I love found footage too.
Yeah, and this movie, I highly recommend it. If you guys haven't seen it, is the Borderlands because the ending is just a
What's it,
WTF.
is it like a supernatural found footage movie? Is it, what could you compare it to in the found footage genre?
Oh, geez, man, you're putting
Paranormal
me on the
Activity,
spot.
Blair Witch, or is it just something wholly unique that you've never
I
seen
mean,
before?
it has like a religious feel to it, right? And there's some themes like a religious theme to it. However, the ending is just out of the blue.
Mm,
What the hell did I just watch? This is bonkers. Um, but leading up to it, yeah, it's like a religious found footage
okay.
film. Um,
Well, I just watched a
yeah,
found footage movie the other night, As Above, So Below,
nice.
and I liked it, but that ending left me cold because
hmm
it was nothing. Like, they just crawled out of the
Out of
manhole,
the
and that was
suit,
it.
yeah, yep,
I was like,
yep.
I was waiting for, like, something big to happen,
hmm
and it never did. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, there was good stuff like throughout, but the ending just kind of left me a little cold
Mhm.
with that one.
Yeah, I can see that. Um, the next one is From Beyond.
Mm,
Um, again, I was kind of
great movie.
new into Vinegar Syndrome, and this movie, you know, H.P. Lovecraft kind of, I just, holy cow, man! This movie is just
That's a
fantastic.
legit movie.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
the 4K transfer is spectacular, of course, from Vinegar Syndrome, but of course it has these 80s iconic actors
Yeah.
in it within the horror genre, and it's just, you know,
And
beautiful.
that has a new documentary in it as well, and you have Barbara Crampton and Jeffrey Combs like all throughout it. So
Mm.
like that was I don't know if you watched that or not, but it was a brand new documentary that they
Hmm.
did, and then that's one of the reasons I love Vinegar Syndrome because they'll include a lot of documentaries with their releases,
Yeah.
and
If,
they're
if
always really good.
if I'm being honest, Ken, uh, I didn't start really watching special features
Oh, I'm the same
until
way. Not until I started the channel.
that's exactly it. Yeah, because I just wanted to see the movie.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm glad that I'm taking that extra step of
I
watching the
didn't have
special
time back in
features.
the day.
But
I
mhm,
worked a lot in my younger days up until probably like 7 or 8 years ago. I was working like 70, 80 hours a week. Like I was lucky if I could watch a movie, you know?
damn.
So I didn't, and I got done watching the movie. I'm like, why do I need to dig into special features and stuff? Now, a comedy, I might watch the bloopers and things like that, like deleted scenes and stuff,
Hmm.
but I never listen to commentaries because I just got done watching the movie. Why do I want to watch it again with a commentary? And I'm
Hmm.
not going to watch it with the commentary the first time because I want to watch the movie. So I never really got into that commentary stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but I love documentaries as opposed to like separate interviews. Like if a release has got like 9 interviews, it's like you got to click on every single one. And then like, what if somebody's like not super entertaining and then you got to watch their whole interview? Whereas the
Hmm.
documentary is like just an overall picture of everything. And you got it cutting back and forth between multiple people involved in the movie. And I just find those a lot more engaging to watch. So I
Yeah.
like those.
Yeah, one of the ones that I liked that had a documentary was, and I just recently picked it up, was the Mothman Prophecies.
Mm.
There's like an hour or maybe 50-minute
Was that a new
documentary.
one?
Um,
Was that with the
from
imprint release?
Yeah,
See, I
yeah.
remember watching that back when it came out, and I was bored to tears. Now I was 17 when it came out, so
Hmm.
maybe I just wasn't ready for it. I do want to rewatch it at some point, but I never got it because I just don't have fond memories of it.
Hmm. Yeah, I love the movie. So, but yeah, other one is a Burial Ground. Um,
Damn it. I got that coming from Severin. I've been waiting on it forever. Like all my Severin stuff hasn't come yet.
yeah, this is from '88 Films. Um, and this is my first and I think only movie from their label. But
They do a lot of kung fu stuff.
yeah, and this quickly became like my top three favorite zombie films.
I
It
can't
is
wait to watch it. I've heard great things.
it's so ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
there's iconic, the boy man
Mhm.
in there, and it's awesome, man. Oh my god, practical effects look good but bad. Everything is like chef's kiss.
I can't wait.
Oh,
I
dude,
can't wait.
you're gonna love it, man. You're gonna love it. And the movie that I just mentioned earlier um, was the first time watch when I got it for the standard edition was The Guess.
Oh, so you did get the box set.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah, I did. I did.
Oh, I thought you said you missed out on it.
No, well, I went the eBay route with this one,
Ah, you
so
cheated.
I got it.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
I mean, I did that with Drive and some of the other ones that I got. But yeah, I mean, especially with like
Hey, I
this.
mean, I did illegal things to get some of mine, so I'm not here judging.
Yeah. But yeah, this release is just
I'm joking, by the way. I
gorgeous.
feel like somebody out there listening is going to like really think I'm serious.
No, man,
It wasn't illegal. It was perfectly legal, but there was some shady business involved. I'll say that.
wearing a sketchy
It was
trench
sketchy.
coat.
It was
Yeah.
not illegal, but it was a little sketchy. All right. All right. So that was it. The five. You showed the five.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yeah, blind buying is. What would you say about blind buying at the end of the day? It's cool, right? All the
I
cool
mean,
kids are doing it.
I was about to say, yeah, everybody's doing it. Yeah, all the cool kids.
You're not cool unless you pee your pants and you blind buy.
Yeah, pee your pants. Um, yeah, as I stated earlier, is that for me, there's nothing like it finding buying blind a movie and just and having that experience, and obviously having that movie in hand. But if I would say take the risk,
Yeah.
at least a couple times, take the risk.
Now, within reason, right? Like I'm not usually buying second sight releases that I haven't seen before. Like for the most part,
Oh,
well,
I
I
am.
can't I
Yeah,
can't even say that because last year I did. I bought that May movie and I hadn't watched that. Uh, but in the beginning, I was like, all right, if I'm going to spend this much money, I need to have seen this movie
for sure.
at least once.
I, I,
So I was
I
buying a lot of stuff I love from Second Sight.
I
But
think what it is that once you buy a couple movies from a specific label, you kind of trust the label with the releases
yeah,
they have.
yeah,
And that's what did it for me was Second Sight because I love the Babadook. I love some of the other movies that I got. And then same thing, May. I never saw May until it came out on from Second Sight,
I still need to watch it. I've heard
and
great things about it.
it is fantastic, man. So damn good. But I wouldn't have bought it if it wasn't for Second Sight because I trusted that label. Like I've had a
Yeah,
lot of good releases from them. Same thing with like Vinegar Syndrome. They put out some weird movies that you probably never heard of, but you trust the label, you trust their transfers. You know, that's part of the
yeah,
collection being a blind buyer. So
yeah, absolutely. I could not agree more. What are some wish list movies that you would like to see come to Blu-ray or 4K?
damn
Just
it.
like top of the list. I
I
know
you
I'm throwing you a curveball here.
I should have expected this question, and I didn't, especially for me doing interviews.
Just there's a lot out there. Just some
No,
stuff you can think of off the top of your head. It's like I wish this had something better than it does.
S- it's my number one would have been. Oh, that's not hasn't been released on Blu-ray.
Blu-ray or 4K
Oh,
or 4K,
okay.
either one.
See, the thing is, when I started collecting, I don't know like what is exactly like with Blu-ray and like
Yeah,
because
I still have to check as well.
so
There's
um
some like big titles like Dead Alive or something like. Well, no, Dead Alive does have a Blu-ray, but it's like way out of print. Um, there's some stuff that you could think of off the top of your head, but it doesn't have to be. But it can be 4K. 4K.
okay,
Just
yeah.
thinking 4K.
Well, for me, number one would have been for sure Nightmare on Elm Street. That's the
Yeah.
first horror movie that I've seen and that I love. Hopefully, we get seven on 4K at some point. Um,
Yeah, we should be. It's I'm hoping it'll come this year, like this fall or something.
mhm.
Um,
um, Yeah, you know what? I'm be honest with you, man. I have a boring answer. That I mean, that's just like I guess I'm not as knowledgeable in the sense of like because I started pretty new in collecting. Like I don't
yeah,
know exactly what's been released.
there's
So
titles that still surprise me. I'm like, that has a 4K. Like
mhm.
somebody showed me that Van Wilder had a 4K with
Yes,
Ryan Reynolds, and I did not know that movie had a 4K. But
yeah,
Lionsgate put it out like way back. I'm like, why do we not have a freaking Lionsgate steelbook of Van Wilder? Like they should have pulled that out by now. Like, come on, that'd be an incredible steelbook.
yeah. Yeah, man. I you know what? I apologize for the
No, you're
answer
good.
because
You're good.
I honestly don't really know.
You're
That's
good.
just me being honest. Yeah.
You're good. Um, what do you like the most about collecting? And then I'm gonna make you answer the other half, the least. What do you
Okay.
like the most though?
What I what I love the most about collecting is having a movie. in your possession, especially ones that you have fond memories of. Um, I always relate it to um, my childhood. My favorite piece of my entire collection is the Bruce Lee set.
Yeah.
I had amazing, wonderful experiences with my dad watching those, Bruce Lee movies. And when I was young, I didn't really get it, and I saw action films, but I had that memory with my dad, and I think owning that piece of physical release in my hand is just wonderful, because I get to think about like my dad, or someone else that I just had wonderful movies memories with. So that would be my, you know that would be my answer for that one, is fond memories. What I was it with the least? What do I think the least?
Yeah. What do you like the least?
What do I like the least?
And it can't be all the money that you're spending.
Yeah, what I
No, it can. It can. If that's it.
um
That's an
well,
obvious one, though.
in some ways is the I would say is the double dips of, because of certain labels putting out a standard release or whatever, and then later on having a nicer release.
Yeah.
And for me, I think it would be nice to have that type of release on day one. Like, when I got the Avatar collector's edition, like I love it, but I was kind of pissed. Like, was it 6 months or whatever that from the standard to a nice, book that they had
Yeah.
Disney released. And
So you
so,
bought the slipcover of that one, and then they came out with the
mhm,
big the big package release.
yeah, and then I got rid of the other ones, but like, yeah, I mean, it's just I
That's
don't.
Disney for you, man.
Yeah,
Sons of
well, that's a
bitches.
lot of labels like
It is. It is. I
Universal
just like
and
to attack Disney.
but and then of course, small problem is the space it takes.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, like I mentioned in one of my videos recently, is that I am able to have some floating shelves to display some of my movies, but a lot of my movies, um, are the cases are in bins, but the actual disc itself are in my entertainment room in old school CD books.
Yeah.
Because for me, where I'm at in my life, my kids come first. Like, the entertainment area is like filled with like kid stuff, right? But I do have my, you know flagship like soundbar system, and like the nice TV, blah blah blah. But I don't have the luxury to have like a big wall, the shelving like you guys do, which would be
Yeah.
awesome. But unfortunately, I just can't have that. So for me, it is the space, because I just put it in, for the most part, in bins. So
Yeah.
yeah, because we're collectors, we're gonna buy another movie. It's not gonna stop being realistic. And so you're
Yeah.
like, just having bins or just more clutter or space. It takes up more space, and so that would be another answer. Uh, yeah.
Good answer. Yeah, I'm fortunate that when we finished our basement, I asked my wife very nicely, "Can I have one room down there, just a little side room to put some stuff?" I don't think she had any idea what was coming when I asked that, um, but she allowed me the one room, and then I moved my movie shelf that was up in the living room down here, and then the
Mhm.
rest was history. A small shelf at the time,
Yeah.
grew into that. So,
Yeah.
but
Because I
yeah,
get it from, like, my wife is like, what the hell are you gonna do with all this stuff?
yeah.
And so
Well,
yeah.
I remember back in the day when I first started collecting DVDs, I had one of those little media towers. You remember those?
Hmm, hmm,
Where like you put them in, it was like it almost looked like a steel cage or something, but you would like slip them into little slots,
hmm.
and it could hold like 150 or something like that. And that held my entire collection for a while. So, um, let's see. Do you ever? I know the answer to this, but you collect physically, but you also do streaming as well, right?
Yes, sir. I'm a father. These, the kids, I
They don't want to switch no discs.
exactly. And plus, obviously, a lot of the kids shows, like I have to have Disney Plus, Netflix, um, and because it's what the kids watch, and for the most part, I honestly don't mind. I don't really mind it because there is some shows, movies, content that, at least for right now, it makes it worthwhile to have those
Yeah.
specific streaming
Well, you
apps.
can't get a lot of this stuff on physical. So it's like if you want to watch this stuff, the only
Mhm.
way you can do it is on those on Netflix or Disney Plus or Hulu or whatever.
Or Tubi, yeah. I mean,
Tubi, yeah.
yeah.
Tubi's getting into some originals, you know.
Mhm.
They're doing their thing over there, and I like Tubi because they're free. So
Yeah, and
speaking of
for
free,
us horror fans, there's a ton of horror movies
I try to
on
tell
there.
people on like Vinegar Syndrome and Arrow video releases, look on Tubi because they're like all on there.
Yeah.
If you want to sample some stuff,
It's
it's
so
on
true.
there.
Yep.
They have like everything. It's crazy.
Yeah. But, like, yeah, I'm not anti-streaming, like, at
Yeah,
least c
yeah.
so that's just me.
It does get that way with some people. They'll want to take sides. It's got to be streaming versus physical, and I'm definitely not that way. I think that they can both coexist. My issue is, I don't want it to transition to just being streaming. I don't want to go down that route, and also the fact that we have all these streaming movies and stuff that just feel so disposable because they will not allow them to have physical releases. And I wish that more streaming services would put their stuff out physically to kind of give their movies a little bit more credibility.
Also, what pisses me off is the streaming service has a better audio, or
Yeah.
the 4K transfer, or uh, the streaming service, or a digital purchase has the better, superior release,
Yeah.
than the physical, which shouldn't be the case at all. But nowadays, you're seeing that kind of more and more. Um, which sucks, but that's what the companies, labels, or studios are going towards. They want
Yeah.
you to buy that digital release.
Yeah. I think that's total crap. I mean, I've talked about that before. I'm like, it should at least be equal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying physical has to be better, but like you should have all the bells and whistles that you have on digital, on physical,
Yep.
for sure. So we're getting into closing out the interview, Frank, and one question that I want to ask you. It's a very important question, so I hope that you're ready. Um, what are your thoughts on the state of physical media as it stands right now? Do you think it's healthy? Do you think it's ending anytime soon?
Well, my bank account is definitely knows it's not ending.
Yeah, it's very healthy.
Yeah, it is. I would say it's at a very healthy state, in the sense of, yes, some of the big stores that most people shop at, they're not there in store. However, there's plenty of places, um, you can buy movies from. You just kind of have to you just kind of have to know, like, where to
Yeah,
buy movies. Um, Target, and Walmart have a huge selection online, and yeah, it's just kind of, in some ways, you just have to do some research of your own to find out where to buy movies. I always promote, like, Diabolic, Orbit, Grindhouse, Atomic, Atomic. Oh no, I think there's another name to it, but, like, they just have wonderful, um, websites. These websites just have so many movies on there, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
Were you saying Orbit?
Orbit DVD,
Yeah, Orbit.
Atomic. There, I forgot
I
the
don't know if
name.
I've heard of Atomic. That's a new one for
Yeah,
me.
I'll send you the like little the name of it, but like
Yeah.
they were like super fast shipping. It was I bought a couple movies like The Deep House, and some other movies, but like yeah, they were just super fast. At least for me on the West Coast, and it was fantastic, and I just had a good shopping experience. So
Awesome.
anyway, yeah, it is the current state is very healthy. Um, Especially for us collectors because we're kind of in the know. Um,
Yeah.
but I think, as I stated earlier, I think it's part of our responsibility as physical media content creators is to inform people, viewers, to know where to shop at because
Yeah.
we love this hobby and we want to make it known where to buy because most people think, you know, Best Buy, Target, they're getting rid of it basically. Well, Best Buy obviously did, but they just think it's the doom, like the end is nigh, right? And but
Yeah.
it is
The
not.
normies out there.
Yeah, the normies. There's so many movies being released every single
Yeah.
week. It's out of control, man.
It's just
It's
trying to
crazy.
get out there to reach, the normal people that don't know about this stuff.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
people that are where I was at, like, 7 or 8 years ago, didn't know
Mhm.
anything about this stuff. Was just going to Walmart or Target. Like, if you're just buying your movies there, then yeah, it probably feels pretty dead to you.
Mhm.
But like when you're in this space, when people are announcing like 80 titles a week, it feels like. I mean, I'm covering this
Mhm.
stuff every week. It feels like it's never been healthier in my mind. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think in some aspects it's the best it's ever been. It's the healthiest it's ever been. And then in other aspects, it feels kind of dire. But we're in a really interesting time right now because there's a lot of people that are realizing the downfalls of streaming
Mhm.
and the price hikes that are happening and people removing stuff from the services, and
Mhm.
you're starting to see like all these articles where people are like, maybe we should get back into physical media, and is physical media going to have a resurgence? I feel like we've been seeing a lot of that.
Yeah,
um
the renaissance of physical media,
yeah, where people
basically.
are trying to get clicks off of the renaissance of physical media. So I just see these articles like everywhere, like every day, like everybody's the same like websites that were talking about the death of physical media like 2 years ago, or like
Mhm.
promoting the renaissance of it now. So it just feels weird that which it's good, I guess. It's getting it out there for more people, but
Mhm.
it just feels a little disingenuous sometimes when you see the same people that were like, "Oh my god, it's dying. Best Buy's not selling physical media more. It's dead." And then the next year they removed a couple of their favorite movies from a streaming service. They're like, "Let's get back into physical media." Uh,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
it's the way. That's why we do this. We love movies and film, and we want to collect this stuff and archive it in our collections and have it to
Yeah.
watch whenever we want.
Yeah, perfectly. Well said, man. Yeah.
Yeah. But Frank, I appreciate you coming on, man, and recording this with me. This is Collectors of the World, episode 4. I'm going to give you the chance to promote yourself and your channel real quick again before we go. Let everybody know why they should subscribe. You're trying to get over 1,000. We're going to get you there with this video.
Yes, sir. I'm a likable person, damn it.
I think
But
I like you, Frank. I like
yeah.
you. So they should too.
Yeah, dang it. Yeah.
There's a lot of people that watch me that don't like me. I know this because like I'll upload a video and it gets like 5 dislikes in the first like 2 minutes. So maybe those people can transition over to Frank because Frank might be a little bit more likable than me. And so you have a channel that you can watch physical media content and actually like the creator. Um,
Well,
so
thanks.
that
Yeah,
that
I
could be
appreciate it.
beneficial for some
Uh,
people that are watching that do not like me.
There we go, man. See, Ken, a little hype man. Exactly. But yeah, my YouTube channel, everything physical media, unboxing, collections, 4K, or just reviews in general. Just talking about the horror genre. I love the horror genre. I just simply love it, man. So that's my YouTube channel in a nutshell. So
there you go. Frank, again, thank you so much for coming on. Collectors of the World, episode 4. I will have all Frank's links down below in the description. His YouTube, his Instagram, his TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, X, everything that Frank's on, I'll have down below in the description.
MySpace.
His MySpace, everything, LinkedIn. We'll have it all down below in the description. But thank you all so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already on this channel and on Frank's channel. Also hit the like button and then leave us a comment down below. We want to know what you thought of the conversation. If you have any other thoughts on some things that we talked about, let us know in the comment section below. And we'll see you guys next time.